On a moonless night in October 2019, the stillness of Syria's Idlib province was shattered by the thunder of 8 U.S. military helicopters cutting through the darkness. Their destination, a secluded compound in the village of Barisha, hidden among the olive groves and concrete homes. Inside, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of the Islamic State, whose campaign of terror had shocked the world for nearly a decade. As the helicopters touched down, Special Forces operatives descended, moving swiftly toward their target. This was the moment years of pursuit had built toward, a chance to end the reign of a man who had evaded justice for nearly a decade. To grasp the significance of this night, we must look back to Iraq in 2003. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, born July 8, 1971, was a quiet religious scholar with a doctorate in Islamic studies. The U.S. invasion of Iraq changed everything. In 2004, he was detained at Camp Bucca, a U.S.-run prison in southern Iraq. Amid sweltering tents and barbed wire, he connected with al-Qaeda operatives, forging alliances that ignited his radical vision. After being released in December of 2004, he joined ISIS, rising to the top of its leadership by 2010 after the death of its prior emir. The Syrian civil war, erupting in 2011, gave him a new stage. In 2014, after capturing Mosul, he stood in the city's great mosque, his black robe stark against the ancient stone, declaring himself the Caliph of the Islamic State. His call to Jihad unleashed horrors, the genocide of Yazidis, beheadings of journalists like James Foley, and propaganda videos that drew thousands to his cause, building a caliphate fueled by fear and bloodshed. The world could not sit idle. In October 2011, the US labeled Baghdadi a specially designated global terrorist, offering a $10 million bounty, which would ultimately be raised to $25 million in 2017. A coalition of nations, including the United States and regional allies, launched airstrikes and ground operations to attempt to dismantle the ISIS empire. By 2017, Mosul and Raqqa were liberated, their streets choked with rubble, but Baghdadi remained in power. This would be his last public appearance in over 5 years, and the start of an intelligence operation that would result in his death. The hunt was a global chess game played in the shadows of war-torn Iraq and Syria. Baghdadi's evasion from public view made the search even more difficult. False reports of his death plagued the effort. In March of 2015, a strike in al-Baghdadi wounded him, forcing him to cede temporary control of ISIS. Yet he slipped away once again, vanishing into the Syrian desert. Tracking Baghdadi demanded human intelligence in a hostile territory. Undercover agents, often posing as merchants or refugees, infiltrated Mosul's crowded souks and Raqqa's shattered neighborhoods. In 2016, a Kurdish informant in Raqqa spotted a convoy of dusty Toyotas moving under the moonlight, guarded by armed men. A drone strike had targeted the suspected safe house, but it was empty. In 2017, a raid near the Euphrates River uncovered a cache of maps and burner phones in a mud brick hideout, but Baghdadi had fled hours earlier. Every attempt to capture Baghdadi resulted in failure. But on October 26, 2019, the accumulation of years of intelligence converged into a daring assault on the fortified compound in Barisha, Syria. Launched from Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq, the operation demanded meticulous coordination, navigating Turkish and Russian-controlled Syrian airspace. 8 helicopters, including MH-60 Black Hawks, sliced through the night, their engines a low rumble over the desert during the 70-minute flight, shadowed by F-15 jets and MQ-9 Reaper drones providing real-time surveillance. At 1 a.m., the helicopters roared into Barisha, rotors whipping up a blinding storm of dust and debris. Delta Force operatives fast-roped to the rocky ground, their boots crunching against the earth while Rangers framed out a secure perimeter under a starlit sky. The target was a concrete compound with high walls and reinforced gates. Its windows shuttered, betraying no signs of life. Night vision goggles cast a green glow on the operators' faces as they moved with precision. Over loudspeakers, a voice in Arabic demanded surrender. Come out now or face the consequences. Rather than risk the main entrance rigged with explosives, the team detonated a breaching charge on the outer wall, the blast echoing across the quiet village. Dust and smoke billowed as operators poured through the jagged gap. Carbines raised. Inside, chaos unfolded. ISIS fighters, clad in dark clothing, unleashed a hail of AK-47 fire, their shouts in Arabic drowned out by the sound of gunfire. The air grew thick with smoke, the floor littered with spent castings and shattered glass. Intelligence had pinpointed Baghdadi's likely escape route, a hidden tunnel beneath the compound. As the operators closed in, Baghdadi, wearing a suicide vest, fled into the underground passage, dragging 2 children as his shields. Cornered at a dead end, Baghdadi detonated his vest in a desperate act, the explosion shaking the ground, collapsing the tunnel in a roar of fire and debris. Dust hung heavy in the air as operators dug through the rubble, recovering fragments for identification. Within 15 minutes, portable DNA kits confirmed Baghdadi's identity, cross-referenced with Defense Intelligence Agency samples, sealing the mission's success. The team swept the compound, seizing critical intelligence: 5 cell phones, 2 laptops, a USB drive, and stacks with handwritten notes detailing ISIS operations and finances. As they prepared to exit, a final sweep ensured no threats remained. The operators boarded the helicopters, their rotors slicing through the night as they lifted off. Behind them, F-15 jets and MQ-9 drones unleashed precision strikes, reducing the compound to a smoldering crater, to prevent it from becoming a martyr's shrine. The 2-hour operation left 2 U.S. soldiers injured, but all of them would recover. But stray airstrike munitions killed 2 civilians and injured 1, prompting a 2020 Pentagon review into collateral damage. As helicopters returned to the base, analysts were already dissecting the materials recovered in the raid. Some documents detailing smuggling routes across Iraq and Syria. 1 laptop contained encrypted communications with foreign fighters in Southeast Asia. A USB drive referenced potential attack plans on European targets, though no specific timeline was found. Intelligence officers raced to act before ISIS could adapt. Analysts believe it prevented at least 1 major attack in Turkey in early 2020, according to declassified briefings. On October 27, 2019, President Donald Trump made the announcement that Baghdadi had been killed.
Tonight was a great night for the United States and for the world. A brutal killer, one who has caused so much hardship and death, has violently been eliminated. He died like a dog. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place.
Across the globe, the announcement triggered a wave of calculated praise. From European capitals to Middle Eastern command centers, leaders acknowledged a rare victory in a war often fought in the shadows. US, Kurdish, and Iraqi intelligence services were credited with orchestrating one of the most complex joint operations in modern counterterrorism, a raid that eliminated not just a fugitive, but the figurehead of a collapsing empire. On October 31st, ISIS named Abu Ibrahim al-Hazmi as successor, who would ultimately be killed in a 2022 US raid. The caliphate was gone, reduced to scattered cells, but its ideology endured. By 2025, ISIS affiliates like ISIS-K in Afghanistan and groups in Africa's Sahel continued deadly attacks. Baghdadi's vision, a global of jihad rooted in fear, still fuels these groups, recruiting through encrypted apps like Telegram. His propaganda machine, once a YouTube juggernaut, now thrives in the dark corners of the internet, inspiring lone wolf attackers in Europe and beyond. The hunt for Baghdadi proved that no terrorist could hide forever, yet his legacy lingers a stark reminder. Defeating terrorism demands not just bullets, but dismantling the ideas that ignite it.